Glorious sunshine in this wonderful ground. Over the last 12 months, the image of Casement Park has literally been transformed. A wonderful arena. We anticipate a most enjoyable Ulster football semi-final. You've heard the news. Both teams are very anxious to be able to play Armagh on the first week of August in Clones in the Ulster final. We've heard of huge tailbacks on all routes to Belfast, 5-10 miles, all crowds in the direction of this venue for a match that indeed you're going to see live. It's the 20th clash between these two counties. At the moment, Down have won 10, Tyrone 7, and there have been 2 draws. And of course last year they played in Omagh, Down won by 15 points to 2-7. Must be one of the finest grounds now in the country. Match referee, I believe, has been informed to delay just for a moment. We're slightly ahead of time, but I think it's a lot got to do with the fact that the crowds are still coming into Casement Park, and the police have indeed informed the authorities that there's a huge tailback on all routes. Colin O'Rourke is with me. Your thoughts for this game, Colin?
Well, Marty, it's a very, very hot day here in Belfast. It's going to put a premium on stamina of players, and I suppose it's an unusual decision maybe by the Down management to send in Ross Carr, who has only recently been back in training. He seems to be playing in his normal right half-forward position. Gerard Deegan has transferred over to the left. Roger McGarity is coming in at full back for Down. He appears now to be playing at centre back, and Kieran McCabe has come out there as well. Faye Devlin at right corner back, but players should have been taking plenty of water for the last couple of days, or they won't last out this pace.
Pat McEnany, who will make history next Sunday, the first Ulster man to referee a Munster football final. Today he's in charge of the Ulster semi-final. It's hot and humid indeed, with a slight breeze blowing from left to right, favouring Down in this first half. Down very much the underdogs in this Ulster semi-final, which is rather rare occurrence, and that's probably the way they like it. Here is the legendary Mickey Linden. Pat McEnany says he was handing off the defender, so it's the first free to Tyrone. Tyrone looks so impressive in the quarter-final game against Fermanagh. Matt McGleenan, now very much the target man, loading a ball in, and Pat McEnany again says that the free is not going to Tyrone, it's going to Down. And Mickey McVeigh.
One of the features of this game should be the long kickouts by both goalkeepers, Mickey McVeigh and Finbar McConnell. Both of them have kickouts that are likely to bypass midfield. It would suit Tyrone if Finbar McConnell was able to do that.
4 times these teams have met in the 90s. Tyrone winning. A wonderful score for Tyrone that sets them on the way, perhaps, scored by Brian Dooher. This was a great effort from out the field. Well taken score. Less than 2 minutes gone, and certainly the crowd here are not going to just get a good game of football, hopefully, but indeed a tan. It's very warm. It's going to be a real test for the stamina, for the preparation put in by these two teams right through the winter months. It's what championship football is about. The sun is shining and the ground is firm. Tyrone have settled well. Down towards Matt McGleenan, intelligently fisting it forward in towards the corner for Kieran Loughran to run onto. He's fouled. It's a free for the Tyrone man, and already you can see just a little bit of agitation. This is a good run here by Kieran Loughran, who is performing quite well right through the championship campaign. Tyrone under pressure now as Brian Dooher, deep inside his own half of the field, comes forward. And that's another free. Good refereeing as Owen Gormley was fouled. And Pat McEnany is just giving a little tick on the book to the down defender. It's going to be taken by Gerard Cavlin into the space for Matt McGleenan, who's already causing problems for Micheál Miguel, feeding Peter Canavan. That is beautiful football. Simplicity. Tyrone playing against a slight breeze. It's very slight, I can assure you. Registering their third point, but it was McGleenan again who was the target, and easily fed Canavan, sniffing around the big full forward.
Well, the Tyrone tactics are fairly obvious now. They're leaving Peter Canavan and Matt McGleenan inside, pulling Kieran Loughran out and letting the ball in fast.
Here comes Ross Carr, getting his first touch in this Ulster semi-final, and the first chance, and Finbar McConnell read it all the way. Big Ireland goalkeeper, Ulster first choice as well over the last few years. Centre half forward Owen Gormley. Just goes out over the sideline, line ball for Dow. Ross Carr leaving it for a colleague. This is good play now by Dow, coming forward from the half-back line and midfield area. Left half-back Simon Poland, who was a doubtful starter. First chance for Down goes very much wide. They look very unsettled in the opening 5.5 minutes of play, Down. This was a good chance, but really very much wide. On a day like today, when the heat is so intense, the long ball could be quite effective and save a lot of energy. And we'll await to see what the strategy will be by both managers for this game, because certainly the intensity of the early exchanges cannot possibly be maintained. Ball thrown away by a Tyrone man in disgust of the decision, so it's going to be a free from here for Ross Carr. Easily anticipated by Kieran Gourley. Running forward is the left half back. Matt McGleenan again, getting inside Micheál Miguel. McGleenan trying to make an angle for himself. Canavan is calling for it outside, but the big full forward was fouled, and here's a chance once again for Adrian Cush, or indeed Peter Canavan, to tap this over the bar. This was great running by McGleenan, cutting through the inner down defensive line, causing problems. Here's Peter Canavan, and here's another point. So Tyrone leading by 4 points thanks to this easy free. Down yet to register a single point. Indeed, on view here today in Casement Park, we have the two best goalkeepers in Ulster. Mickey McVeigh is in fact Finbar McConnell's substitute in the Ulster Railway Cup team. First real Tyrone pass that went astray. Big full forward Kieran McCabe putting the pressure on the Tyrone defence. Here's Ross Carr, a trusty left boot, kicking the ball well, but unfortunately from his perspective just tailing to the right and wide, and Ross, to say the least, disappointed. Here was the chance and the result. Finbar McConnell. It's not often in Ireland, indeed, over recent summers that we see when a kick out has been taken, dust coming from the ground. This is a great run. Cutting through the heart of the Tyrone defence, Simon Poland. Tyrone under pressure for the real first time. And it's the first score of the game for Down. And it took a long while for Shane Ward to get the point.
Come on, Alan, keep testing, come on!
This is the move again, as Down registered the point. Now they're on the way.
Come on, Alan!
Unable to keep it in is the big midfielder, Ger Cavlin. Paul Higgins using centre half forward Shane Mulholland. Good ball to the full forward. Now Down are beginning to play creative football. That's a sweet ball into the corner. Good defending by Faye Devlin. And Finbar McConnell is coming out to clear. Plenty of Tyrone defenders there. One of them is Pascal Canavan. The left half back Kieran Gourlay. Big centre half forward Owen Gormley did very well. McEnany, the match referee, correctly giving the free to Tyrone. Here's the challenge again. Pulling and dragging by Ross Carr. Had to be a free. Kieran Gourlay, full-back in the All-Ireland minor team, beaten by Laois last year. His pass inside, not a good one, easily picked up by Alan Malloy. And it has to be said, in the final few moments of this game that we've just seen, the Downs seem to be settling a lot better, using the space more effectively, like now. Mickey Linden getting inside, Paul McGurk. Linden looking ever so dangerous, and as always seems to be able to take the right option. So after an uneasy start, Down have 2 points on the scoreboard. Getting inside the cover of Paul McGurk, a player of rich potential in Tyrone. And he'll be even richer as a result of the experience of marking the great Mickey Linden, wisely taking his point. Now it's Tyrone's turn to go into the attack. Great run here by Adrian Cush, straight inside to Owen Gormley. Chance, and the goalkeeper is indicating that it wasn't a penalty, but the referee says it was. And I think he could well be fortunate not to have conceded a penalty. Look at this again as the centre forward goes through, just tripped outside. Yes, Pat McEnany was perfectly correct. Good referee. Cutting through the heart of the Down defence here. It was a matter of centimetres.
Good refereeing by Pat McEnany. It's noticeable in the first 10 minutes of the game that he's very, very close to the action at all times.
Adrian Cush tapping it over the bar, getting his first point of the match. 5 points to 2 in favour of Tyrone. Some of the Tyrone substitutes and team management there looking on and enjoying the sunshine as well as this game. So far it's very even indeed. Kieran McCabe showing a little bit too much to it. Brian Dooher puts it into the space. This is the one aspect of the game so far you would have to admire from both teams, that when they get possession around centre field or half back, they seem to be able to use the long punt into the space. This is Micheál McGill beating Matt McLean for the first time. To Kieran McCabe, now operating around centre forward midfield area, just allowing two up front inside the Tyrone 13-metre line. That's Shane Ward and Mickey Linden. This time it's Adrian Cush. That's a great ball up to McLean. There's nobody really inside. Mickey McVeigh has to just take a few steps back. And here's a long ball. That's a good ball from the goalkeeper down towards Shane Mulholland to initiate another attack. Faye Devlin just getting a boot to it. That's going to be a free for Tyrone. Already the crowd getting behind both teams, and a little bit of niggling there, as you can see. And for descent, there's an extra 10 metres. Advantage Tyrone. Matt McLean feeding his colleague outside him, but this time it fails. Over 14 minutes gone, Colm. It's fairly even, isn't it?
It is, yes, and whether it's the conditions or whether both teams have planned it like that, we've had an awful lot of long kicking of the ball and good open play. Both forward lines trying to draw out their half hours and leave plenty of room inside. So it looks as if both full back lines could be under a bit of pressure.
The breaking ball picked up by Kieran Gourley. Peter Canavan had changed direction. The wing back wasn't aware of it, so it was an easy ball for the down defender. Kieran Gourley. It's an easy ball in turn for Alan Malloy from Loughlin Island club. And again, it's Kieran Gourley. We're expecting great things from this All-Ireland college medalist. An All-Ireland medal with St. Pat's Dungannon in '97. Adrian Cush. Spends quite an amount of time travelling between here and Germany, so it's difficult for him to train. That's a very good ball by Matt McLean and good defending by Micheál McGill. Making it easy for Mickey McVeigh to use the long ball. Centre half back for Tyrone is Colin Holmes. And wide. Brian Dooher again. Good play for Tyrone. Ronan McGarity sends it over the bar. Well, that is an amazing score when you consider that Ronan McGarity is actually marking Kieran McCabe, the down full forward. So the fullback for Tyrone has come forward. The tactical plan by Down obviously has not worked because his opponent, McCabe, that should be the scorer.
Yes, well, what has happened here is Kieran McCabe has pulled out the centre forward and has brought Ronan McGarity into the game, and of course the price of that is that if the full back is accurate, he can move up and score himself.
Rosscar switching over towards far side is Jared Deegan, wearing number 10, but now in the left half forward position. Not a good pass, which Adrian Cush partially anticipated. And that's going to be a line ball given away by Faye Devlin. Referee is halting play for a moment as there is a Tyrone player down injured. And Pat McEnany, who has refereed this game very well so far. Adrian Cush is the player that seems to be down injured, and Pete McGrath, the down management, will try and make moves as there is a break in play.
I'm sure all the players will be delighted with this break in play. It's noticeable off camera that there's water being passed around to almost everybody. The game has started at a fairly hectic pace and it's so hot that players will be trying to get water at every opportunity.
And Adrian Cush, as you can see, has a leg injury picked up. This is the incident again. As you can see, he collided with the down and player and fell awkwardly. But Adrian is okay. Back into action. Meanwhile, it's Mickey Linden. And the foul on the down player was noted. I also think in Pat McEnany's decision-making there, I'm sure he noticed that Mickey Linden was fouled as he was kicking that ball in. I think he was allowing for advantage. Just didn't quite catch it there in the replay, but the Tyrone players went up here. There's no question that the player was fouled. So here's the resulting free, going to be taken by Shane Mulholland, dropping it in off the post, and it reduces Tyrone's lead to just 3 points, 6 points to 3.
It's interesting now for the kick-outs from Finbar McConnell, the two Tyrone midfielders standing very close to each other and then splitting towards the wings. Obviously they're afraid of down dominance in the air and trying to keep the ball to the wing.
Finbar McConnell seeking Jared Cavlin for to use Kieran Gourley in the distribution. Well taken by Sean Ward. Available is Paul Higgins from Ballymartin, member of the 91 and 94 All-Ireland winning team, with the much younger Shane Mulholland. Good run by the centre forward. Now he needs assistance from the big midfielder Brian Burns. Faye Devlin has to retreat a small bit so that Pascal Canavan can distribute the ball towards Adrian Cush, who's playing a very deep role. An easy ball for Ross Carr. Sometimes the pattern of the game seems to change to different periods of dominance. Here's Shane Ward, the side of the boot. Just misjudged it slightly. And the people of Down are disappointed. They feel that Shane should have done better. Here's the chance again. Got inside the cover of Faye Devlin. Doesn't happen that often. Didn't take the chance.
Well, with 20 minutes gone in this game, Tyrone are in the driving seat, but they looked as if they were going to blitz down early on. Now they're finding it a bit more difficult to get possession around the middle of the field.
Paul Higgins seeking out Mickey Linden. Colin Holmes, centre half back from Moy, the club that produced the great Plunkett Donaghy. Possession given easily away. Ross Carr pumping it in a little bit too strong, causing no problems at all this time for Tyrone. Down at the other end, off camera, it's noticeable that there's a change in the Down defensive formation. Sean Ward has gone from centre back to full back in a switch with Micheál McGill in an effort to curb Matt McLean. So we'll see that when perhaps this ball arrives. Kieran Gourley, centre forward. Owen Gormley, Peter Canavan. There's a little trickle of excitement when wee Peter gets the ball. Brian Dooher. Canavan has made himself available again inside. Here comes the pass. Here goes Peter. Inside, brought down. Free for Tyrone. It's so interesting at times to watch Peter Canavan, not just when he has the ball, but indeed off the ball as well. And you can see a yellow card here for Sean Ward in his effort there to stop Canavan from scoring. To have this way, Colin, Peter Canavan, of eluding defenders. They just can't seem to spot him.
Yes, he's an electric burst of pace. I think that's the most important thing, but it wouldn't suit Peter too much this day because he suffers a little bit from asthma. Players like that tend to feel it a bit on a really warm day.
Takes his point. That's his third of the game. 4 points now between the teams. Kick out by Mickey McVeigh, comes down towards Cormac McAnallen, loses out however to Shane Mulholland. Mickey Linden, like Canavan, elusive, mobile, and always has the ability to win a free. Disappointment etched on the face of Paul McGurk, as difficulties with Mickey Linden are obvious. Yes, it is hot in Casement Park. as Shane Mulholland takes this free. Didn't aim for the far over post, and again there'll be disappointment here. Scoreable at this level.
That's 5 wides for Down now. At this stage only 1 to Tyrone. Down with enough possession to be a bit closer than 4 points behind. Again, the same thing in the middle of the field. 4 midfielders standing very tight beside each other. Tyrone obviously had done a bit of work on trying to get their midfielders split for the kick out.
Breaking ball picked up by left half back Simon Poland from Bryansford. Into the space. Good play by Faye Devlin from Arboe. That's good play again by Tyrone. This time in towards Kieran Loughran. The overlap provided by Owen Gormley. Pat McLennan, good defending back to Canavan. Good play Tyrone. Quick, slick and accurate. Jared Kaplan from Dungannon gets his first point in this Ulster semi-final. But it was the speed and the accuracy of the passing. At times these Tyrone forwards are so dangerous. They really can score. There was no messing about. Well taken point.
Really quick hands there by Peter Canavan when the ball eventually found its way to him here. And Jared Kaplan hasn't been in the game very much for Tyrone, but a brilliant kicker off both feet. The dominant personality in the Fermanagh game, maybe that'll get him going in this one.
Jared Kaplan scored 2 points against Fermanagh and has the ability at times to go forward, able to mix it defensively as well. Here's Matt McLennan. Peter Canavan swinging to the left. Here's Owen Gormley. A chance here perhaps for Tyrone. Good play. Kieran Loughran gets his first point. As Tyrone now lead by 6 points. But the ball is being played around at a very fast pace. Hand pass being used effectively and accurately, and using the wise move here of fisting it over the bar. Down, chasing this game right from the start. Mickey Linden. Kieran Gourlay fouling, so that's going to be a free.
Your hands in.
Dead straight in front of the posts. A kick for Shane Mulholland. But the down attack doesn't seem to be as creative when the ball does enter that area of the field. And certainly Down would want to be taking their chances from frees. Yet again a miss kick. And Shane Mulholland will be wondering what exactly is going wrong with these kicks. You can see he turned away immediately, bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, Shane Mulholland now at this stage would probably be better off either not to kick the frees at all or kick them from his hand, because he's normally very accurate. One of the problems kicking frees today, when you went down and looked at the pitches, the grass is very, very short, so it's maybe a little difficult for the free takers just to get their foot under the ball.
Interestingly enough, Colm, the Tyrone lads are taking the frees off their hands, so maybe it is a factor. Again, it's a good ball for the Tyrone attackers, because they're not very big men, apart from Mac McLennan and Owen Gormley, the central attackers. And when they do use the wings, they use the low ball. Kieran Loughran fouled here.
Yes, and it's noticeable that Kieran Loughran is making a dash from the right corner over to the other side of the field for a lot of these low balls. Peter Canavan doing likewise, heading to the other side.
Down, as you can see, are thinking about introducing a substitute, Cody Matthews. And again, Peter Canavan is going to take this free from his hands.
Take.
Good running by Kaplan from midfield. Punched away, and Sean Ward Sees it go out over the end line. Kick out for down.
Well, the down half back line are in all sorts of trouble here. Tyrone are spilling forward from middle of the field, so it wouldn't be surprising if Peter McGrath does opt for a change in that area.
Danny Ball, the Tyrone manager, successful manager with several of their underage teams. Oh, that's a fine catch. Distribution is superb to Linden. Oh, brilliant save by Finbar McConnell. Can Tyrone have it? Well, Down may well learn from that scenario that the long ball to Mickey Linden could well pay dividends. Straight from the kick out. Tyrone now have to respond.
Let's move it on,
Paul Higgins. Down towards Mickey Linden. Using Shane Ward. This is Kieran McCabe. And this is very much wide. That was a great opportunity for men from the Mourne County moments ago. And Finbar McConnell made quite a fine save. Cody Matthews is being introduced as anticipated, and it looks like Kieran Byrne from the Byrne Club, the number 4, is going off.
That's not surprising. Kieran Byrne in all sorts of trouble there with Kieran Loughran from early on in the game.
Jared Deegan at the far side. Advantage to Down. That's Kieran Byrne. Played his part in this Ulster semi-final. Made his debut against Antrim, in fact. Shane Mulholland. Shane Ward. Back to Mulholland. Down finding it very hard to get through this Tyrone defence. And despite the pressure, that was quite a good score by Shane Ward from Clondalk. His second point of the game. But in contrast to Tyrone, it must be said that Down are finding it very difficult to get inside the defensive cover of Tyrone. And Shane Ward had to work very hard here. Running onto it is Alan Malloy. Paul McGurk was fouling Mickey Linden. And Paul has been punished by conceding a free and his name going into the book as well. So Ross Carr is taking over the free-taking responsibilities here instead of Shane Mulholland. We'll just see how Ross Carr manages this kick. And again, he's taking it off the ground. Hits it well. The experience of Ross Carr showing there, under pressure, coolly, sending it over.
Let's see you get one. Get your run.
Tyrone's big problems are getting their own kick-outs. Their half-back line are coming in to try and leave room for their midfielders, but Down have cottoned on to it now at this stage, and Finbar McConnell would need to change tack with the kick-out.
Aiming this time for Owen Gormley. Adrian Cush with possession. Brian Dewar available on the left wing. Ball breaks for Peter Canavan. Meanwhile, a Down player and the referee collide and both fall down. Good defending here by Finbar Caulfield. And away come Down, responding to the encouragement of their supporters. Back towards Jared Deegan. Chasing after him is Cormac McAnallen. Mickey Linden punched away from him by Paul McGurk. Sending it across this side. Referee has blown his whistle, and it's going to be a free for Down for that foul on Gerard Deegan. Almost dead straight in front of the post. In fact, the referee is going to give it from that very position. Blatant push on the back here. Had to be a free for down. Carr going to take this free. I didn't get all of that, Caroline, but I'm going to stop, give the score and then shut up, basically. Ross Carr sending it over the bar. Good point for Down. They're still in this game. Carr's free taking is a huge boost, and it keeps the Mourne men very much in contention. 3 points between the teams. Brian Dooher giving it inside to Cormac McAnallen. Back outside to Matt McGleena. Brian Dooher is available, looking for somebody inside near the goalposts. That route to goal is blocked by Sean Ward. Now comes the ball inside. It's available, but the referee has in fact blown his whistle, and he's given a free out. Very quickly taken. And for the last few moments, this game has stepped up a gear in speed and in spirit. Down towards Shane Ward. Dave Devlin trying to stay with him. As Down now begin to exploit the space to Mickey Linden. He needs support outside, but it's not readily available. 3 Tyrone defenders around him. Now he uses Kieran McCabe. The support comes amazingly from the right half back. Paul Higgins dropping this sweetly over the bar. What seemed to be so easy for Tyrone at times, the response and the challenge is now being met by the men from County Down.
It's a brilliant patch of football there by Down, moving the ball right up the field, one side to the other. Eventually comes to Paul Higgins, not normally associated with long accurate kicking, but an absolutely brilliant point. Down very much in control of the game.
2 points between the teams. And that last 3-4 minutes of action in this first half certainly won by Down, inspiring their supporters as the crowd stand up here in front of us in Casement Park and warmly congratulate the players on a fine first half. Down very much in this game despite trailing at half-time by 2 points. Half-time score, Tyrone 9, Down 7. Second half. Indeed, we noticed here from the commentary position at half-time, the wind seemed to increase its strength over half-time, and that breeze will be favouring Tyrone in the second half. The band off camera going off the pitch. That's why Pat McEnany is waiting for that to happen before this game can resume.
Yes, Marty, the wind is strong enough, but if anything now it seems to be blowing more crossfield than it was in the first half. Tyrone had big problems at midfield. Neither Cormac McAnallen or Derek Cavlin were able to get into the game in that first half at all. And I'd say the way Down were playing that they were sorry to hear the half-time whistle, because they were very much the dominant team.
So the band has gone off the pitch. Pat McEnany about to resume, and the next 35 minutes may well give us an answer who will play Armagh in the first week of August. Away we go. Second half of this Ulster football semi-final, 99. One of these teams will be out of the Ulster Championship, surely, in 35 minutes. Shane Mulholland pumping it in towards Mickey Linden. Good defending, however. Ronan McGarity. Finbar McConnell playing his part, but it's a ball that goes astray. Easily picked up by Micheál McGill. It's a big midfielder, Brian Burns. Again, they use that long ball as much as possible. Pascal Canavan intercepting. Owen Gormley, one of the finest Ulster players, in fact was the Ulster player in '98. Second year on this team as a first choice player, and he wins a free. Blatantly being fouled, no question at all about the referee's decision. Adrian Cush pumping it into the space that Peter Canavan had already departed from, so it's an easy ball in the first week of August. Away we go, second half of this Ulster football semi-final, 99. One of these teams will be out of the Ulster Championship, surely, in 35 minutes. Shane Mulholland pumping it in towards Mickey Linden. Good defending, however. Ronan McGarity. Finbar McConnell playing his part, but it's a ball that goes astray. Easily picked up by Micheál McGill. To big midfielder Brian Burns. Again, they use that long ball as much as possible. Pascal Canavan intercepting. Owen Gormley, one of the finest Ulster players, in fact was the Ulster player in '98. Second year on this team as a first choice player, and he wins a free. Blatantly being fouled, no question at all about the referee's decision. Adrian Cush pumping it into the space that Peter Canavan had already departed from, so it's an easy ball for Down to clear their lines. Alan Malloy. Shane Mulholland. His free taking may not have been up to his usual standard, but his involvement and participation in this game is first class. Faye Devlin using Ronan McGarity. Brian Doer's lack of height, a disadvantage with that high ball, fouling Paul Higgins subsequently, conceding possession and the free. Kieran McCabe trying to get away from McGarity, has to use the man outside. Brian Burns not noted for his point taking, and this is easy for Finbar McConnell. Very cool defensively, playing a patient game. Well blocked on by Kieran McGabe. Comes to Brian Dooher, however, and takes off. Peter Canavan wants it now. There's nobody inside. That's a great run, and a very well taken point by Brian Dooher from the Clonagale club. A player of rich talent now beginning to surface in this wonderful amphitheatre.
Brian Stewart's strong point always has been running at defensive. In the past he often hasn't finished very well, but there he gave an exhibition of long range point taking.
So 3 points between the teams again. Brian Burns, full-back of course, the team that won the All-Ireland in '94. Now very much part and parcel of the midfield setup for his county. Down pumped it in long, and just that little touch from Faye Devlin allowed Finbar McConnell to come off his line. Ronan McGarity. Gerard Deegan fouling. Stephen Lawn warming up along the sideline for Tyrone, as that ball is pumped in long. And again, it's not the sort of a ball that Peter Canavan wants. He wants it a lot quicker than that. And Tyrone just inclined to hold up possession around the midfield area. Full marks to Down, however. They changed and altered their plans defensively and have coped more than adequately with what Tyrone have been throwing at them. Alan Malloy picked up an injury here. He actually collided with his colleague. Just picking up a clash of heads here. Let's just watch it again. There's Kavlin here. Here's the clash. There's an elbow there from Shane Mulholland, purely accidentally.
That passage of play there reflects Tyrone's problems. When the ball is kicked high into the middle of the field, they don't have the physique there with Kavlin or McAnallen to fight for it, and Down are winning a lot of the breaks. So Tyrone, when they get the ball, they're needing to bypass midfield if at all possible.
Alan Malloy, first game in midfield for his county in a championship match. As they go into the attack, and it's another sideline ball for Down, who are very much in contention in this Ulster semi-final, showing the resilience, the determination and the spirit that we associate with the county of Down. Well, this is quite a difficult angle for Ross Carr. As you can see, just a few meters in from the sideline on the 20-meter line.
That's the referee giving them a free there for a sliding tackle on Mickey Linden.
Across the face of the goal. Eventually it's Pascal Canavan. Adrian Cush comes back towards Gerard Kavlin. Empty shoulder from Ross Carr. Colin Holmes survived the challenge. The pass inside is not a good one. Well taken by Micheál McGill. Paddy Matthews to McGill once more. Again they feed Mickey Linden, and again he wins the tussle. Provides the space for Gerard Deegan. Across to Shane Ward. Here's a chance for Down. Oh, and a wonderful save by Finbar McConnell. Great play. The ball is in the net. Tenacity exemplified by Down. The Tyrone defence looked like they had this situation under control, but they did not react quickly enough, and Down, to their credit, showed their focusing and their determination to find the ball in the back of the net. Great save here by McConnell. McCabe came in on the blind side as such. Despite several Tyrone defenders, he waltzed past them and crashed it into the net.
Great play by Kieran McCabe, but dreadful defensive play by Tyrone to allow a player come in on that angle.
And here come Down again. This is Ross Carr. Mickey Linden again. Potential match winner. That left corner causing problems. Onto the left boot, and there's a point. Footballer of the Year 1994. Showing the way forward for his county in the last year, 1999. A wonderful period for the men from the county of Down.
Yes, and nothing more than Down deserved. They have been dominant in the 10 minutes before half-time, and now they've started like that as well. Mickey Linden getting very much on top in his duel with Paul McGurk. It's surprising that Tyrone don't put Faye Devlin across, who has had a fairly good record on Linden in the past.
Down lead by 1 point. The first time they've led in this Ulster semi-final. Kieran McCabe operating now around centre half forward area. Knocked away from Shane Mulholland, and that's going to be a sideline ball. Quickly taken again to Mickey Linden. This time leaves it behind him. Kieran Gurley and Gerard Kavlin. Matt McGleenan, who really hasn't been seen in this game since the 10th minute of the first half, wins the first ball that comes his way. Down towards Peter Canavan. This game now being played at an electric pace. pulsating spirit and accuracy perhaps to match by Brian Dooher. A hat-trick. And now we have a rip-roaring encounter in Belfast.
Yes, this game is really opening up into a classic game. Great accuracy there from Brian Dooher, but great off-the-ball running by both teams now, and a fantastic level of effort. It'll be interesting to see who can last out this pace the better. Whoever has done the most spring training will now win it.
Pete McGrath indeed said it in an interview with us before the game, it's whoever wants it the most. I think that, with Cullum's analysis, is vital. Is it down? Here comes left half back Simon Poland. Shane Mulholland fouled in an effort to gain possession here. Brought down by both the wing back and centre back Pascal Canavan, Colin Holmes. A free for Kieran McCabe, the only member of the full forward line yet to score. He now has resolved that situation, and Down lead by 1. Tyrone thinking perhaps about making another alteration as we watch that ball go over the bar.
Well, I would certainly think that Tyrone will try and do something with their full back line now. Mickey Linden is really beginning to get on top in his corner.
Interestingly, Tyrone are thinking about introducing Paul Devlin, and he is a cornerback, so it's going to be an effort to curb Mickey Linden. That move can be anticipated in a matter of minutes. Shane Mulholland, Kieran McCabe, Tyrone unsettled, cutting through, great run, superb finish. Castlewellan's Kieran McCabe producing another wonderful move by the Red and Black Brigade from the Mourne County. This was a pulsating run that Tyrone could not counteract. Casement Park responds to the high fielding exploits of Brian Burns. Here's another chance. Shane Mulholland wants it quickly through the middle, knocked it away, comes back outside. Yes, Gerard Deegan has it, giving it back to Shane Mulholland. Here's a chance. Wonderful play. This is the sort of football you associate with the County of Down. They went before this match to the St. Teresa's Club here in Belfast on the Glen Road to warm up. When they arrived in the dressing room, you could see that they were really keyed up. It's now reflected with the performance on field.
Yes, and Shane Mulholland and Kieran McCabe are causing awful problems in the centre of the defence for Tyrone. So change has been made now. It'll be interesting to see who's going.
And Paul Devlin is coming on, and it looks like Paul McGurk is the man that's going to be coming off.
Yes, and Pascal Canavan is now going into full back to play on Kieran McCabe, who's causing a lot of the problems.
Consequently, Ronan McGarity is now at wing back on Gerard Deegan. Gerard Cavlin. Canavan wants it to right wing, goes it on his own and sends it wide. Peter Canavan, off camera, is bitterly disappointed. He had moved to the left as we look at it here, creating the space, and wanted it. Wasted opportunity. Down man down, injured. Getting some attention as Mickey Linden is grabbing the opportunity to take in some more fluid. Well, Pete McGrath must be very pleased with his young team, because during the league they didn't really perform that well, Colin, but they have responded magnificently here.
Yes, at this stage Down look much the hungrier team, and it's really putting the gun to Tyrone at this stage. Gerard Cavlin, Peter Canavan, all these very good players that Tyrone have, but they haven't been able to do anything about the Down opposite numbers up to this. Down totally dominant around the middle of the field, winning all the kickouts and winning all the breaks, and unless Tyrone can disrupt that pattern, it's a one-way traffic.
I noticed, Colin, while you were speaking, that Danny Ball called Gerard Cavlin to the sideline, and I think he was trying to tell him to send the ball in to Peter Canavan to use the space being created. Let's see. Sideline ball for Tyrone. Well, we've had a most enjoyable 15 minutes now of this second half. Matt McGleenan. 3 down defenders around him, and they are infuriated with the decision by the referee. Here's the McGleenan going through. Seemed to be a fair shoulder from Sean Ward. Didn't seem to be any fouling. I think the down players were correct on this decision. Seamus Pryor, the linesman at the far side, looking on as Tyrone attempt to put this over the bar. The attempt has been fulfilled, and they reduce Down's lead to 2 points. 111 now to 12. Very well taken score. Owen Gormley, the score.
Well, we have seen very high quality kicking up to now in this game, and that was another example of it. Absolutely fantastic point from the very sideline there from Owen Gormley.
Knocked away from Brian Burns, picked up by Pascal Canavan. Kieran McCabe challenging fairly and winning possession back. Linesman at the far side has his flag raised. Line ball quickly taken. Kieran Gourlay from the Rock Club. That's the sort of ball that Danny Ball wanted into his forwards. Low, fast, into the space. Adrian Cush giving it back, and that is gone wide. Ryan Dooher will be disappointed, to say the least. But from that angle, I think he was being optimistic anyway. Straight down the middle. The kick out from Nicky McVeigh. Again, Kieran Gourlay is doing great work sweeping the breaking ball around that midfield area. But Down, keep the pressure on. And Alan Malloy wins a free. Micheál McGill is actually going down injured as we looked at that replay. He seems to have developed either an ankle or a knee problem. Meanwhile, it's Ross Carr that's going to take this free. And certainly his free taking has contributed enormously, not just on the scoreboard, but indeed settling the side as well. Here he is again. And this time, he's inaccurate. McGill, meanwhile, has received attention and he's able to take up.
Tyrone have responded to the problem of midfield now by bringing out Matt McGleenan there in an effort to get some possession.
Tyrone manager Danny Ball looks concerned as Shane Mulholland feeds Brian Burns over towards Mickey Linden. Shane Ward is creating the space in around the goal mouth. Linden goes it solo and finds the target. 3 points for Mickey Linden in this Ulster semi-final. Finbar McConnell, the goalkeeper, is very agitated. He claims that that ball was wide. Let's see. Looked good enough from here, but it's very hard to judge. But the umpires were quite insistent. Down leading by 112 to 12 points. Goal by Kieran McCabe. The difference between the sides at this moment in time. there could well be a difference in strategy and spirit, hunger, because Down certainly look like they want this place in this Ulster final. Another free for Down. Not back sufficient distance, an extra few metres. Carr going to take this again. And you can see Finbar McConnell is still arguing with the umpire behind the goalposts, saying that last shot was wide. Ross Carr.
Keep them boys on their toes. Right.
This to stretch his county's lead, but he fails to do so. It remains 112 to 12. And Ross would have deemed that particular free quite scoreable.
Yes, two good opportunities there for Ross Carr, nearly to put the game out of reach of Tyrone, who are very, very rattled at this stage.
Nicely picked up by Gerard Deegan, that breaking ball. And again, an intelligent use of possession. Shane Mulholland stretching the Tyrone defence to the left wing. Shane Ward. They'll feed Mickey Linden. Ward goes for the response. And the pass and the kick, rather, didn't match the approach work at all.
Finbar McConnell has been continually looking for short kick-outs. They haven't been working very well for him.
Kieran Gourlay. An easy ball for Paddy Matthews from Clonduff. Micheál McGill giving it to Ross Carr. Shane Ward, hungry for possession. Across to Gerard Deegan. Back to Kieran McCabe. There's a second goal coming here. Oh, McConnell did well, but McCabe gets his second goal. Down rejoice against all odds. They have produced a sparkling performance, a memorable display in this wonderful Casement Park. An enterprising move that created the chance for McCabe. McConnell made a great save, but the rebound fell for the big full forward from Castlewellan, and he took his chance with great confidence and ease. The men from County Tyrone are in deep trouble here now.
Yes, the down forward line is ripping that Tyrone back line asunder, and there's not nearly one position in the back line where Tyrone are able to say that their man has command of his opposite number.
Two clear goals now between the teams, and the linesman Seamus Pryor has informed match referee Pat McEnany of an off-the-ball incident, and Pat is now gone back just to check. He's allowed play to continue on, and obviously noted the information. Owen Gormley. And that is gone wide. And now referee Pat McEnany is going to go in and have a word with the down defender as we watch the replay.
Yes, really stupid play there by Gormley. You know, no point in trying to go for impossible shots now from the wing there. They should have been trying to play that ball across the middle.
Pete McGrath, manager of a down team, minor or senior, since 1982. It's a long time giving total commitment to inter-county football.
Minutes.
11 minutes left in this Ulster semi-final. Tyrone have a huge struggle to try and at least gain parity, never mind win this match. Can they produce a creative move, not once but twice, and rattle the down net? With this sort of football here, they just might. the sort of play that suits them. Canova, long way from goal. Taking off, shows a little bit too much, puts himself into trouble, did very well and wins himself a free. Tempers being frayed unnecessarily, I must say. This game has been played in a very fine spirit so far, but obviously anxiety creeping in to the minds of the Tyrone players as the time goes by. Adrian Cush going to take this free now. Simple tap over for the wing forward. We've done it more. Five points between the sides now. Good work again by match referee Pat McEnany, who's had a brief consultation with his umpire and obviously ensuring that all information flows directly to him.
10 minutes left. If Tyrone could get a goal here now at some stage, it would really make for a grandstand finish.
Matt McLean inside his own half of the field now. Mickey Linden was fouled, so it's a free for down. There's Linden coming here. There was a sliding challenge from Paul Devlin. One man oblivious to it all. James McCartan, captain of this downside, monitoring everything from the sideline, and the crutch has now gone as Ross Carr takes this free and sends it wide. Didn't really get behind it at all this time.
I can't understand why Finbar McConnell, with his really long kick out at this stage, just send it straight down the middle and hope for the best, because it's not working any other way.
Dirk Havlin knocked away by Alan Malloy. Mickey Linden, Ross Carr distributing and putting a little bit too much power into his kick. Sideline ball for Tyrone. Adrian Cush, Pascal Canova lending assistance from the wing back position. The passing by Tyrone that looked so good in the first 10 minutes of this game now disintegrating. Shane Mulholland and Kieran McCabe have come to prominence in this Ulster semi-final. Over towards Mickey Linden. That just sailing wide. Mickey Linden has really been a huge thorn in the side of the Tyrone players today.
Well, Tyrone have just one simple problem here at the moment. They just can't get the ball.
Danny Ball is thinking perhaps about introducing another substitute. And here he is, warming up along the sideline. Stephen O'Neill. And again, Down have possession. There was great concern before this game about the Tyrone midfield, and those fears have been validated, because Down own the ball at midfield and in their own half-forward line.
Yes, and taking off Cormac McAnallen and bringing out Matt McLean. It hasn't made for any improvement there in that area at all.
Gerard Deegan making an angle for himself. Again they use Mickey Linden, and again he'll try. Unfortunately, again he'll fail. Kick out very quickly taken. Tyrone were trying to bring in Stephen O'Neill. It didn't work, as we're looking at the replay here.
That's 7 wides for Down now, the second half.
Wonderful interception by Micheál Miguel to Shane Ward. Very much underrated before this Ulster semi-final. They felt that the down attack were not knitting together, mixing together well, and they certainly have proved those doubts were very much astray. Nice combination. Gerard Deegan has the time to look around to see if anybody else is available who would like to participate in this move. Down to Shane Ward as Down play keep football. Shane Mulholland takes too much out of it, and Tyrone come away. Kieran Gourley played well all through this game at left half back. They try to feed Peter Canavan. Surrounded. Referee gives him the free. Again, nobody readily available to take a quick one. So this is going to be a chance to raise the white flag for perhaps the 14th time of this match. Adrian Cush picks it over the bar for his third point of the match. And Tyrone could still snatch this one out of trouble. 2-12 for Down. 14 points for Tyrone. 4 points, the deficit. The tension is tangible. A place in the Ulster final against Down's greatest rivals, Armagh. What an epic, thrilling encounter. Mouth-watering prospect that is. But Tyrone are not out of this. This is truly the Ulster Championship at its best. Oh, that's a terrible ball. Shane Mulholland comes away with it. Referee has blown his whistle for a foul, apparently on Mickey Linden, I think. Yes, he's giving a yellow card to Paul Devlin for an off-the-ball exchange with the Down corner forward, so it's a free for the red and black. Kieran McCabe, 2 goals and 2 points. 2 goals, surely the match-winning scores. And he kicks that over the bar. Down surely now. Must be there. Less than 3 minutes in actual playing time as Down stretch their lead.
Well, the Down forwards will never get as much room in any match again. They have a huge advantage in pace on this Tyrone backline, many of whom don't seem to be particularly fit.
Free to Tyrone. Bay Devlin. The whole rhythm and balance of this Tyrone team are greatly upset. Ross Carr. Back from Shane Ward. That is a mighty kick. Ross Carr is back. All-Ireland medalists in the past. His hunger is at a premium. His spirit has been unquenched, and his accuracy hasn't been lost over the years. A very fine performance by a Down team, mixing the old with the new. And there certainly will be an electric Ulster final in Clones. 2-14 for Down, 14 points for Tyrone. There is a carnival atmosphere in Belfast. We're into the final minute of playing time. Very few injuries in this second half. There might be a minute or two added on by the match referee. Gerard Cavlan. Point at this stage was insufficient, despite the fact that he took it. It reduces Down's lead to 5 points. And again, this time he was looking around to give him credit, but there was nobody available, as you can see.
Yes, that's absolutely right. A lot of the Tyrone players have given up. There's an opportunity there to try and work the ball in for a goal. None of the Tyrone forwards seem to be interested in making a move.
Tyrone will be bitterly disappointed. The people of the county genuinely thought this was a team going places. But you underestimate Down at your peril. Shane Ward going back, trying to gather as Jared Deegan, knocking it down, feeding Shane Ward. And the Tyrone defence under severe pressure here. Pascal Canavan, Adrian Cush. One last attack, perhaps left in this game for Tyrone. Tyrone Gourlay, continuing on his run. Good play by the wing-back, but he runs out of space. And again, wonderful defending by Down. This is a young team County Tyrone have, Colm, and this obviously is a huge learning experience.
Yes, and I think this must go down as one of the best performances of the championship so far by any team. Down have looked very solid, very fit, and very, very creative up front, even if Tyrone made mistakes that you wouldn't see in a juvenile match.
James McCartan has the last few words as Down produce an amazing second half performance. A second half performance indeed they will cherish. They have now played Tyrone 5 times in the 90s. They now lead in terms of victories by 3-2. But more importantly for the county of Down, thanks to full forward Kieran McCabe with 2 goals and 3 points, they qualified for the Ulster final. Full-time score, Down 2-14, Tyrone 15 points.
Yeah, Kilkenny.